A K-pop stage. Thousands of fans cheering, the roar of the crowd. But what if that song was actually a spell to awaken demons? The story we're about to dive into is not just another music film. It's about idols, fandoms, and an invisible war with dark spirits. This is the Netflix sensation known as KDH, K-pop Demon Hunters. Long ago, the human world faced the threat of being swallowed by darkness. The demon king, Guima, sought to rule the earth. Guima thrived on human fear, pain, and desire. When his army invaded, humanity was helpless. But then special warriors appeared. They fought demons directly, using the power of music and performance. Sometimes their voices and dances were enough, and other times they fought in real battles with swords in hand. Through their struggle, a barrier was built between the human world and the demonic realm. It was called the Soul Gate. The Soul Gate trapped countless demos inside, but the seal was always fragile. It required constant energy to remain intact. That energy came through music. Songs and performances became weapons of protection. From generation to generation, chosen performers talk the stage, not just for art, but to safeguard humanity itself. Today, that mission is carried on by a global K-pop girl group. They are known as Huntrix. The group has 3 members. Their leader, Rumi, a charismatic main vocalist who dominates the stage. Mira, fierce, strong, with an aura that commands attention. Joy, bright, warm, and the bond that holds the team together. Together, the 3 were flawless on stage. But at their biggest moment, the awards show, everything unraveled. Leading up to the show, Huntrix struggled over what song to perform. Should they choose one direction or another? The tension was high. But in the end, the conflict was resolved. They decided to go on stage together with their song Golden. On the day of the awards show, thousands of fans gathered as Hunter X stepped onto the stage. The song was Golden. Lights flashed, the audience cheered, and everything seemed perfect. But during Rumi's solo part, something changed. While Rumi sang alone, Mira and Joy slipped off stage. It wasn't choreography. They had spotted demons backstage and rushed to confront them in battle. And then the trap was sprung. The performance of Golden was suddenly interrupted. The music switched. A song they had decided never to perform began to play instead. Mira and Joy reappeared on stage. But they weren't the real Mira and Joy. They were demons in disguise. The imposters pulled off Rumi's jacket. And in that moment, the demonic marks hidden on her body were revealed. The crowd gasped. Shock rippled through the hall. Rumi, overwhelmed by anger and humiliation, lost control of the stage. She stormed off. And waiting backstage were the real Mira and Joy. Only then did they see it for themselves. The marks on Rumi's body. Shock, betrayal. The secret of their leader was laid bare. It was all a trap. The demons had orchestrated everything, from changing the music to exposing Rumi's true identity. Behind it all stood the boy group Saja Boys. But the Saja Boys were not simple villains. On the surface, they were rivals. But behind the fame was a tangled story. Their leader, Jinwoo, carried a painful past. Desperate to erase his memories, he made a pact with Guima. He was being used, borrowing demonic power just to survive. A tragic figure caught in between good and evil blurred together in him. That was Jinwoo. Rumi's secret was more than just a twist. She was not fully human. She was half human, half demon, a being of both light and darkness. This setting reminds us of Genesis 6 in the Bible, when the sons of God took the daughters of men as wives, and their offspring were born. These children were giants, exalted as godlike figures on earth. And they corrupted humanity. It was one of the most detestable events in God's eyes. It led to the flood in Noah's day, and later, the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah, and even the destruction of Canaan. Each of these acts of total judgment was tied to such corruption. And the Bible tells us it will happen again at the final judgment of Jesus Christ. The same pattern repeats in Greek and Roman mythology. Zeus united with mortal women, and demigods like Hercules and Achilles were born. But from a biblical perspective, these were not heroes. They were distortions, glorifying the union of fallen beings with humans. Even our own Korean myth of Donggun follows this pattern. Hwanong, son of the heavenly Hwanin, took Eungnyo, a woman of earth, and from them came Dangun, a heavenly being uniting with a human woman. And a special child is born. All around the world, myths tell the same story. The root of these tales is a distortion of the biblical account. So in K-pop Demon Hunters, Rumi also stands in this same pattern. not just a special protagonist, but a character reflecting what God calls abominable. And today, through KDH and countless other forms of media, we see hybrids of good and evil, humans with aliens, or unions with angels and demons, appearing over and over again as if nothing were wrong. This is a clear sign of the times we live in. That's where we'll pause for now. Behind the glamorous K-pop stage is a hidden war. Songs are not just art, sometimes they are weapons of life and death. Idols are not just stars, they are portrayed as guardians of the world. But the truth of their identities parallels the warnings of Scripture. So is this story just a fantasy? Or is it a warning for our world today? The answer continues in part 2. In the next video, we'll unpack the message of K-pop demon hunters through the lens of the Bible. If you found this video intriguing, please like and subscribe. And join us next time for an even greater